What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, we're going to talk about Trevor Story signing with the Boston Red Sox. Now, this is going to be one of a double upload today because we're going to be talking about the Minnesota Twins and Carlos Correa and all that news in the second video of today. But before I get into this video, though, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn notifications because this is the place to be on Baseball YouTube for great baseball content. We have season predictions, mock drafts coming at you very soon on this channel. So let's go ahead and look at Trevor Story signing with the Boston Red Sox. Now, this is a rather big signing, but for Trevor Story and the Red Sox, this is a rather confusing signing. I would say that because the Red Sox, of course, did get Trevor Story, which is a big move for them. But it seems like Story's going to play second base, but it also seemed all along that he wanted to play shortstop. So for the Red Sox, this, of course, makes them a much better team heading into 2022. Feels in a big spot that they've needed there. With Christian Arroyo would have been their starting second baseman. And now you feel that in with a guy in Trevor Story that is a really, really good player. This makes their lineup even better than it already is. Now, they do need starting pitching help and a little bit of bullpen help themselves. But Trevor Story is a guy that is a difference maker for this team. And him heading to Boston, it makes their offseason look a lot better than a team that just traded Hunter Renfroe for basically nothing. Then it makes their offseason look a lot better. In 2021, in a down season for Trevor Story, a 251 batting average, 24 home runs, 75 RBIs, a 329 on base percentage, a 471 slugging, an 801 OPS, an OPS plus of 103, and a 4.2 WAR. This is a guy in Trevor Story that is really, really good. And that's what's considered a down season. And I mean, in some of his best seasons, like in 2019 in Colorado, 35 home runs, 85 RBIs, a 294 batting average. In 2018, 37 home runs, 108 RBIs, and a 291 batting average. This is a guy in Trevor Story that, yes, of course, a lot of people are going to say, well, always been in Coors Field for his whole career. Sure, but it still does not prove anything because Nolan Arenado has been as good as he's been with the Cardinals out of Coors Field. He was really good last year and was still injured. The Coors Field thing is not something that you can say anymore. And Story, now I don't know the exact numbers of his contract just yet, but signing Trevor Story is a really, really good signing for this Boston Red Sox team. I think that this makes them looking at third or second place in that division. I think that this is a team that if their pitching can stay strong and if their pitching can be like it was last year, and of course they're going to get some key pieces back kind of early next year-ish. Chris Sale's going to be coming back at some point. Maybe James Paxton at some point. If those guys can come back, then their starting rotation looks a lot better. Now, Eovaldi's going to be, of course, really good in their rotation. He's posted some really good numbers, but their 3, 4, and 5 are not really that good. I think Pavetta's going to be a really good player this year and is going to be kind of a breakout candidate as far as pitchers go. But Rich Hill, Michael Wacha, and Tanner Houck is fine, but Michael Wacha and Rich Hill are not your typical 3 or 4 starters at all. But bringing Trevor Story in is a great move for this team. He's going to slot in at second base. And it makes their lineup one of the best in baseball, better than it already is. And, bringing in Trevor Story is just an overall great move. This is a guy that's going to be very, very solid. Now, I'm looking to see the numbers of this contract because I think that's very interesting in the contract, too. I mean, you overpay a guy like the Braves did, Kenley Jansen, for example. And then you're looking at kind of just an overall not as good of a sign. And the signing, by all means, doesn't make the greatest sense in the world. I'm gonna be very honest. It doesn't make the most sense in the world. Yes, it improves their lineup, but why would you bring in another top 10 shortstop in the league? I mean, of course, any team would do it if you could do it, but is that the best move for their team? No. I don't think so. I think that, there's a lot bigger moves that they could have done. I feel like you could have went in and got a starting pitcher like a Sean Manaea or a Frankie Montas. I feel like you could have got one of those. I feel like you definitely could have. And they just didn't, you know what I mean? I feel like they could have definitely, got somebody different. They will pay him $140 million is what I'm seeing. I'm not sure how many years that it's over, but it's a big signing. But this is just not the one that makes the most sense to me. I feel like this is going to be a shorter term deal with the 140 million. But still, bringing him in, I feel like you could have, brung in a Clayton Kershaw or, brung in a big starting pitcher instead of improving the lineup even more. I feel like your lineup was already decent enough. Very top heavy, I will say that their lineup was top heavy. So this does even out their lineup a little bit. But this is still a move that I think you could have went after a starting pitcher or somebody else, and just I think your team would have looked a little better. And I think they still should go after a couple guys that help kind of solidify their lineup. Being maybe a right fielder and a first baseman could definitely do them some good. And like I said, they need at least one starting pitcher, whether that is Frankie Montas or Sean Manaea or whoever, there. And their bullpen, it can probably deal. But I think that you definitely need some starting pitchers. And was this the smartest move? I don't know. Was it the smartest move for Trevor Story? Once again, I don't know. I think he could have went somewhere like Houston and made that team much better and played shortstop there. Maybe the money wasn't right or stuff. But the Red Sox have had an interesting plan. I will say that they've had the interesting plan of trading Cutter Renfroe for Jackie Bradley Jr. That looked like a pretty bad trade and prospects. They brought in veterans like Jake Diekman, Michael Wacha, and Rich Hill. And they brought in some interesting players like that, and all this lines up to now signing Trevor Story, which is very interesting. But I think Story will be good, but it's interesting. I will say that. So that's going to be the end of today's video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and turn notifications, because this is the place to be on baseball YouTube for great baseball content throughout the off season and the MLB season. This is the place to be on baseball YouTube. We've got season predictions, mock drafts coming out. We've got a lot of great videos coming out on this channel. So make sure you like it and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and peace.